Good morning, we are team COIL number 4 and we are going to talk about gender equality. This is a table of content of our presentation. This is the project timeline. First we did an ice-breaking session, then the selection of the criteria, then we did the selection of the company. Next we did an analysis, the desktop research and the survey, and finally we did the presentation. Introduction. The main presentation contains an analysis of the diversity and gender equality in both universities, Metropolitan University of Applied Sciences in Finland and University of Monterrey here in Mexico. We did a deep research in the data of UDEM, analyzing annual reports, the Centro de Equidad de Género e Inclusión webpage, and the UDEM's official website. Main description. Here we can see the description of Finland and the description of Mexico. We can see different data, the female population, the gender gap, the global gender gap index, and the immigrants in the Finnish population in the population of Mexico.
So here we have just some extra information about what we're gonna talk about during the presentation. And the past slide was about UDEM, and this slide is about Metropolitan University.
Methodology. To achieve this presentation, we have to go through a long journey, different activities, some meetings, research, classes, etc. Among the activities we have to carry out are icebreaker, research on diversity in the workplace, research on how our country deals with diversity, laws within Mexico on inclusion and diversity, and final a comparison with the University of Metropolia, benchmark and gap analysis, interviews, and final comparisons.
Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so here we have some criteria about what we're going to talk about during the presentation. And this is just some stock research about the Metropolitan University, and this next slide too, about the gender distribution, age, and the parental leave. So now about the gap analysis, we did a benchmark about different things. The first three are about the schools, UDEM and Metropolia University, and the other three are about the countries. First, we have the salary. In Mexico, in UDEM, they pay the teachers 30,000 pesos, and in Metropolia, they pay 114,735 pesos. Then we have the gender distribution, the familiar with the subject, the gender gap, the female population, and the immigrants living in these countries. And here we have different percentages.
The percentage of women in employees. According to the UDEM's annual report, in 2020, there were 1,302 teachers in total, and there is a total of 737 women teachers, and this is the 56% of the total collaborators. Percentage of diverse people in employees. To promote international academic cooperation at the University of Monterrey, we have different programs like bilateral agreements. We have 79 countries and 1,000 universities. In addition, we are part of consortia that allows our students and teachers to live an international experiences. Percentage of women leading positions. We found that 803 teachers are certificates in the pedagogical model, and we also found different data. According to the National Survey on Discrimination, 9 out of 10 women disagree that the prejudice that women have less capacity than men in managerial positions. Does your company have an approach to ensure women and men are compensated equally? We have that in Metropolitan University. the company has an approach to ensure women and men are compensated equally. Also, in the University of Monterrey, men and women are compensated equally since the values of our university have the approach to include women and very valued inside the university. Then we have some testimonies of two people that work here in our university.
Okay, now we have the salary of Metropolitan teachers and UDEM teachers. We're gonna just talk about the UDEM teachers. So we just have a base, and we just know that the base of the salary of teachers, women and men, is of 30,000 equal for both, as we mentioned in the benchmark. Then we have the possibility of maternity and paternity leave. As far as we know, UDEM is a very inclusive school, so we expect maternity and paternity to be 100% supported. But as mentioned before, there's no policy that mentions this point. Then we have the company that have non-discrimination and equal opportunity or clearly included in a broader corporate policy. In Universidad UDEM has a non-discrimination and or equal opportunity policy, same as Metropolia, and UDEM has very present the rules and the policy and to follow each things that the UDEM says, but they also have an area in which you can learn more about the situation and use the knowledge to your favor. And also here we're going to talk about the approach to ensure non-discrimination and equal opportunity in professional development and promotion processes. In UDEM, as we mentioned in the slide before, UDEM does have an approach. It has a very specific policy which clarifies the roles each person needs to follow and promote.
Branch to which gender equality is included in mission vision statement. At the University of Monterrey, there is a culture centered on humanism and openness to all creeds and conditions that rejects all forms of discrimination. How is discrimination avoided in the application process? And the UDEM, the Center of Gender Equality and Inclusion, aims to build a safe space for our university community through training based on openness, respect, and equality, seeking to contribute to the transformation of society. So among is how are complaints about discriminatory situations handled? In the UDEM, the school is managed through the protocol for the prevention and attention of cases of gender violence. Does your company have leadership, commitment, and support for gender equality and women's empowerment? Yes, clearly the UDEM has a strong commitment to support gender equality and women's empowerment as reflected within the Center for Gender Equality and Inclusion. Does your company have an approach to embed gender in corporate social responsibility activities, philanthropy, public advocacy, and partnerships? As far as we know, as we already mentioned before, the UDEM is very inclusive and incorporate genders in all the activities carried out in the facility. So we will know now how to give exact example. We know that they are very inclusive.
So here, as far as we know, our school does not have an approach to support employees as parents and caregivers, but it will be great to start a new area about this topic. Then we have about the work-life balance of all employees. And yes, as the motto of the school says, ser humano, ser UDEM, this means UDEM is very, very involved, not only the student and work life of those who belong to the school, but also in the personal lives. Then we have about the approach to ensure an environment free, and the answer is no, it does not have an approach to ensure an environment free of those important things, but it will be great to start implementing one due to the importance of it. And also about the address the specific health, safety, and hygiene needs of women. We know that they intend to improve the situation and are working in several areas regarding this issue, but on security, while commuting to work, our company does not have this approach yet.
The question, does your company have an approach to promote access to quality health services that meet the specific health needs of women employees? In the Universidad de Monterrey, we, as far as we know, with the website from them, let us know they have an approach to promote access to quality health services, but they not exactly for women, it's implied, but the emphasis that they have been making about women's respect and other facts reading down to increase a huge manner to stereotypes that will exist nowadays. And does your company take proactive procurement steps to expand relationships with women-owned businesses in the value chain and when contracting vendors? The company does not exactly take proactive procurements, but as far as we know, we acts of expansion the projects such as the Radio Lems does by talking with many women that are entrepreneurs. Does your company encourage suppliers and vendors to advance performance of gender equality in the Universidad de Monterrey? No, at least as far as we know, our university does not encourage suppliers and vendors to advance performance on gender equality. Does your company have an approach to responsible marketing that considers the portrayal of gender stereotypes in the Universidad de Monterrey? Yes. Our university makes a protocol for the prevention and attention of gender violence cases. In this protocol, they give us information about how different the genders are in different areas. The most recent one talks about domestic labors. Does your company have an approach to assess differential impacts on women and men when developing products and on or services in the Universidad de Monterrey? No, or at least as far as we know, the UDEM does not have an approach to assess differential impacts on women and men when developing services. And does your company have policies and processes in place to ensure their responsibility to respect the rights of women and girls in the local communities in which it operates? In the UDEM, yes, due to the recent activity of lack of respect to women in the university, they created the CEGI, which is the Center of Gender Equity and Inclusion. From the name in Spanish, is Centro de Equidad de Género e Inclusión.
So about the benchmark, we know that they intend to improve the situation and are working in several areas regarding this issue, but on security while committing to work, our company does not have this approach yet. And well, this is the discussion about Metropolia and about UDEM. Just for a summary, well, we know that they're improving the areas that are on need, but they need to keep improving those areas. Just like a summary, you can read another time. And about the similarities and differences, well, both want to improve the gender equality on schools. They agree to keep following the policies in that each school have. Both have leadership, commitment, and support for gender equality. Some differences are that Metropolia does not have an approach to ensure the responsibility to respect the rights of women and girls in the local communities in which it operates, while UDEM does have. And Metropolia has an approach to ensure an environment free of violence, harassment, and sexual exploitation, while UDEM does not.
Best practices and opportunities areas in the firms. Best practices, the creation of the Purple Week, trainings with people with experience, conference about violence, women empowerment. Opportunities areas, have more international teachers, keep improving the gender equality, keep promoting the non-discrimination, continue having communication with foreign students.
Okay, about the leadership styles and practices that we had during this whole project. During the semester, we had the opportunity to, in many problems and situations, to practice our leadership. And in specific, we think that our leadership style in general was more emphasizing in a democratic leadership, while the Finnish teammates fostered a leadership between a more laissez-faire type. And in conclusion, right after everything that happened during the semester, in this code project, right after resuming our investigation, right after cleaning out our cultural differences between our Finnish teammates and solving the problems that were presenting right in front of us, we want to conclude this project by noticing out that we had many problems during the whole project, problems that were complicated, a lot of the relationship between the two groups. But after all these situations were solved, we really enjoyed working with our Finnish teammates. For some of us, it was the first time sharing a class with people from a different country, and we can tell that it was a very enriching experiences for all of us. We were able to create a friendship between us and to exchange some testimonies of the way we live in our countries. Thank you.
That will be all. Thank you for your attention.